I'll give you the full rundown of how it works. So when we go to a restaurant, is specifically either based off a recommendation or is based off the restaurant itself reaching out. So that way, nobody can say I was picking on them and I just randomly went to a restaurant and gave my unsolicited opinion. Mm-hmm. The opinion is always asked for. So once we go to the restaurant, I'll have my sister or I have somebody that nobody's ever seen me with in my family go and order the food.
They might be knowing your sister now. You might have to go disguise.
It depends on where we at. So if it's a spot where, because the threshold is 100 to 150 recommendations and like I said, somebody reaching out. So if it's a place where it's like barely over the threshold, it's like 100 recommendations, then I'll send my sister in because a lot of the times those people have no idea, right? Okay. But if it's a place where we got 2,500 recommendations or we got 3,000 recommendations or the restaurant owner and his mama and his grandmama and his cousin that reached out, then that's when I send a family member that nobody's ever seen me with. Okay. So it's levels of like ninja that we call it. Mm-hmm. It's like levels of like incognito. So if it's at the highest level, it's somebody that you literally never seen me with, somebody that don't even look like they're related to us, that you would never, and we even get we get real creative. Like they go to DD's and grab like random shopping bags just so they can look like they've been shopping in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. They throwing full disguises. So it's a full blown mission basically. So they go in, they get the food, they record the experience. When they come back in the car, they give us all the information of how the customer service was, how fast it took, how many people was in there. They get videos of the inside and everything. I do the review, full blown, unbiased, just giving my personal opinion. The second that the video turns off, if it's an 8 or higher of like the overall rating for the car, because I ask everybody, like, how did y'all think about it, the experience, the food? If it's over 8, we go in and we have a conversation with the owner. And a lot of times, if I feel like it's over 8, we blessed enough to where we'll have people jump on a plane and literally try to place the same day. So again, with a great power comes great responsibility. So I feel like it's in our duty to go in and have a conversation with the owner and tell them like, hey, there's no promises, but it might get crazy in here. Right. And a lot of times that's why we leave really large tips so they can afford to go grab the food that they need for the next day. Because a lot of these places, they are either like behind on rent or they just like struggling to make ends meet. So it's like they can't afford for the surge. Like they can't afford to keep up with the demand because a lot of times they have to hire people that same day or they got to call their cousins and be like, hey, we need 10 of y'all to come and help us for tomorrow. So we pay up for that. So we pay for the food, the help that you may need and everything that comes involved in that. So that's when we talk to the owners.
Do you remember the first video you uploaded that went viral?
Food review? Mr. Gary. It was a food truck that was around the corner from here. So I used to ride my bike just to stay in shape. And the strip is maybe like 10 minutes from here, but it's a straight shot up Flamingo. So I used to come out here, I used to ride my bike and I was ride real late. So maybe like 11 o'clock. So this is maybe 2 weeks into, remember I told you I was posting every day. Yeah. This is maybe 2 weeks into that. And I was riding my bike back from the strip. This was maybe at like 12 o'clock at night. It was real late. And I'm driving past a random street that like literally nobody usually walks on because I don't know if you know, we in the hood, Shannon.
No, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. At 12 o'clock, it don't be nobody down the street normally. So I'm driving down the street and it's a random like LED lit box. And I can't tell what it is. And I'm like, why is there, again, we in a hood. I'm like, why is there lights in the middle of the street? So I turn my bike around, I ride down, and lo and behold, it's a food truck. I walk up to it. I asked the man, like, hey, can I try some food? And he like, yeah, we sell, it was called Mr. Gary's, I think it was like lobster and something. Mr. Gary's seafood. So I'm allergic to shellfish, but he had lobster, shrimp, he had crab, he had everything, but he also had a burger. So I was like, can I try the burger? And he was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, everything is cooked on the same grill. So I was like, okay, never mind. And I went to leave and he was like, wait. I'm gonna clean the grill off, come back tomorrow. I'll literally disinfect everything. I'll clean everything. I'll break everything down. Mind you, he has no idea who I am.
Right.
And in my mind, I'm like, why would he do all of this for a stranger or just a regular customer?
And do all that for a burger?
For a burger. The burger was
Go down the street, they got burgers. They ain't got to clean the grill.
It's 12 o'clock at night. He like, bro, I'm about to leave for the night, but come back in the morning. I'm gonna come here early just for you specifically, and I'm gonna clean everything. So in my mind, I'm like, why is this place slow? Why is this not a loyal fan base that's coming here and supporting this man that's really like putting his whole into this restaurant?
Yes.
So I go back the next morning. Again, he still has no idea who I am. Go back the next morning. I try the burger. The burger is amazing. I make a video to that effect and say, hey, in my opinion, this burger is great. I tell the whole story. The video gets like 20 million, I would say like in the first 12 hours, or like 15 to 20 million. He calls me and he panicking. He in a full blown like sweat. He running around the house. I'm like, what's going on? He like, people got my phone number. Why do people have my phone number? Lo and behold, I recorded the outside of the truck and it had his phone number across the top and that was connected to his Cash App. People sent him $40,000 in less than 12 hours. And he had no idea what to do. He was calling me. He like, do I pay these people their money back? He's like, do I go send these people food? Like, what do I do with this money? And I'm sitting there, again, all of this is taking off for the first time. And I'm like, I don't know either, Mr. Gary. I'm like, all of this is just new to me. But it was like that reassurance or that knowingness of like, knowing I had a community behind me that was willing and more than willing to go out and support these restaurants. And I told him that day, good people want to see good people win. And people literally was like flocking to his restaurant. And before you know it, the news was there. The video had over like 30 million, 40 million views. And he had raised over, I think, like $60,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you think people connect with your videos?
I don't know, Shannon. I ain't gonna lie to you. It baffles me every day. I think for me is because I pray a lot. Again, I don't see myself how other people see me. So it makes me question internally. But I always fall back to the fact that I feel like I'm supposed to be here and God put me here for a reason. And I think a lot of it, giving myself a little credit, is that I really take this serious. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't play around. I know these are people's lives that are being affected. Whether that be deemed good or bad. I know there's a lot of power that's been bestowed on me right now and bestowed on my family. We have no idea how long this is gonna last. We don't know if we're gonna be here tomorrow. We don't know if we're gonna be here in 3 years. I just know as long as I can stay myself and I can be me, I'm gonna be everywhere I'm supposed to be. So I feel like that's why people connect. If that's why y'all connect, I don't know why y'all connect me. I'm thankful for it though.
The foods that you critique,
mm-hmm.
Are they all foods that you've had before and you're basing it on a previous test?
Mm.
Or you're like, man, no, I just like this. I've never had this dish before, but I really, really like it.
That's a great question. I like to think I step outside of the box a lot. Mm-hmm. But again, we go on recommendations and a lot of my audience look like me.
Okay.
Now we're being blessed enough to where we stepping outside of that and we really hitting like a worldwide audience. But for a long time, it was just us. So the recommendations I would get would be from restaurants that were specifically for us.
Mac and cheese, collard greens,
exactly.
ribs,
yeah,
oxtails,
stuff that we grew up eating.
Yes.
But now, like I said, I like to think that we step outside the box. And again, I'm a true foodie. So even if I'm not recording, when we go into cities, I'm trying stuff that I've never tried before. I'm the type to literally book a flight to somewhere, get off the plane and just walk to the nearest restaurant and just try it and have no idea what I'm eating. When we was in Japan, we was in Japan for a week straight. And when I say I ate everything under the sun, stuff I didn't even know how to pronounce, I'm talking about we walking into random buildings, eating everything that people was recommending. I think that's just the foodie in me. But for the most part, it, like I said, it's coming from recommendations. So it can sometimes be like monotonous, but it's deeper than the food for me, Shannon. It's like I said, it's the people behind the restaurants. It's people that look like us.
Right. And a lot of times they got a story to tell, don't they?
It literally,
how they
like,
started and
they got kids they feeding off of this. Like they kids that they feeding off of this. I'm blessed enough to say that in the past year alone, we've been a part of changing 150 families' lives that look like us.
Wow. Go without.
Oh, let me backpedal. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The biggest purchase, not bad purchase, but the biggest purchase that I look in retrospect, it was the amount of money we gave out the first year. We started doing taxes, Shannon. We gave out damn near $300,000 the first year. Just like, here you go, take it.
I'm sure she said, we're not doing that no more.
Yeah, out of anything, I feel like it's not a regret because in my mind, to be a blessing, you got to get a blessing.
Right.
To get a blessing, you got to be a blessing. It's just, in retrospect, I think a lot of that comes from the way that I was raised to, of like, yeah, we had money every now and again, but I ain't never touched this kind of money.
Oh yeah. It's different.
Yeah, it's a different, and it was hard for me to figure out how to say no. I ain't never been a person to, now I am.
Right.
Well, I'll say no in a heartbeat. Like, it was a video that just came out when we was at Complex, and a guy walked up and he asked me to record him for 2 seconds. And I was like, no, thank you. It just, they be trolling.
Yeah.
He wanted to like turn the camera around and like either do a dance or like stand there awkwardly or something like that. But now I'm getting to a point where I know how to say no. It took me a while to get there for sure.
Oh, so you go to Sneaker Con and you go to Complex Con, you be buying sneakers?
Oh yeah, Shannon.
You spend that kind of bread? She let you spend that kind of bread on kicks?
Only on shoes.
Oh,
Only
okay.
on shoes. Shout out to Sacred Sneaks. I got a personal sneaker guy who's my best friend.
Right.
He crazy. He 21, but he the type to be getting like pairs dunks that's worth $100,000, or he'll fly over to Italy just to sell one pair of shoes that's worth $80,000, $90,000. When I get them, I don't be paying that.
Right.
But yeah.
What's the most expensive pair of sneakers? I don't have to know how much you paid for them, but what would you say you have that's costing
Probably my 1985 collection. I got maybe 6 pairs of Jordan 1s from 1985. All of them was a pretty penny.
Are you not? You're not going to wear them, are you?
I put on my feet. I wear them when we was in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm one of them. I don't spend money on stuff that's other than shoes. So for me, I've always wanted to collect shoes. I've always wanted to be a sneakerhead, but I just never could afford it. I used to wear Airwalks in high school, and I used to get made fun of a lot. That was the only time, I wouldn't even say bullied, but you know, people roasting. Yeah, I used to get roasted all the time for shoes. But it was, like I said, I either was wearing hand-me-downs or I was wearing, like I said, Airwalks or stuff that my mom and dad could afford. I got in trouble once. My brother, he wore a size 12. I wore a size 8.5. I took a pair of his Air Force Ones and he used to like color them, like with, this back when you used to get like white Air Force Ones and color them with a coloring pencil.
Yeah.
I took a pair of them. I stuffed 3 pairs of socks in them, put them in my book bag. He was gonna wear them to school that day. I had no idea. I put them in my book bag. I used to take the bus. So I walked to the bus stop. My mama, I had a full outfit back there too. I had a polo that came to like down here. It was supposed to come up here, but it was like down here.
Oh, you done stole all your brother's clothes, huh?
Oh, I'm stealing everything. I go to school. I go to the bathroom. I take rubber bands. This is no lie. I take rubber bands. I take the sleeves, put the sleeves up here, put the rubber bands up. I take the socks, put them in the shoes. I'm walking around school looking like Bozo the Clown. My shoes coming up here. My mama, I'm walking through the hallway feeling like that guy. I randomly hear my mama voice. You know, your mama voice cut through everything.
Yeah.
I randomly hear my mama voice. I look up and she's standing there with my brother. Like, that was his outfit for the day. I'm like, oh, I started running. Book it. I'm running through the hallway. They end up catching me, end up putting the other clothes back on. I got talked about that so much, like for weeks, bro, for weeks. But now I think that has sparked now that I can afford the shoes that I've always wanted back then, I go and treat myself a little bit.
Did you get to see my live on Whatnot a few weeks ago? I sold 300 pairs of sneakers from my personal collection, and all the proceeds are going to my alma mater, Savannah State, that's going to be donated at a later date and time. The best part of the night was someone purchased a pair of shoes off my feet. For those who don't know, Whatnot is a live stream shopping platform where you can buy and bid on items in just about every category you can think of. For the sneakerhead, Whatnot is celebrating the best sneakers of 2024 with 2 days of crazy deals and giveaways from hundreds of sellers. You don't want to miss it. It's on December 5th and 6th on Whatnot. Use my code Shannon15 for $15 off your first purchase over $20. Join Club Shay Shay. Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because you know we like to do something before 2 something.